Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good Tavach, Shua Tov. We are learning Mishna Yoma, Parakhas chapter 8, Mishnah Vav, Mishnah 6. Mi shachazai vulmus. Someone who is gripped with bulmus. Bulmus is a certain kind of sickness that comes from being very hungry. If you do, what's it called?
Same thing as in English.
Bulimia?
Bulima.
Okay,
Bulima.
but it's a sickness that comes because from not eating, and it's very dangerous. Machilan oisai. Machilan oisai. We feed the person. This is on Yom Kippur, right? He's been gripped with this bulmus. Mm-hmm. We feed him. Afilu devarim tameim, even non-kosher food. Mm-hmm. Until his sight returns. Meaning, if this bulmus is striking you, you start losing your sight. And it's something that you must immediately start eating. Otherwise, it's really it's a very serious condition. It's very dangerous. So we say like this: if there's kosher food around, give him kosher food. But let's say there's no kosher food around. There's just nothing else around. And the only thing is non-kosher, you can give it to him. Because in order to save a life, to save a life, we can override the laws of the Torah. And therefore, in this case, we are going to feed him anything right away. And not only are we going to feed him everything, remember by the pregnant woman who smelled some food on Yom Kippur, and we said we give her to eat. So there we said that we first give her little bits, right? First we give her less than the shear, less than the amount that you'd be liable for, right? Less than the date. Here we don't do that. We can't play around. Right now we just go ahead and feed him. Until his eyesight comes back. When that happens, we know that he is okay. All right, next case. Now, once we brought up this case about where we have to treat a person immediately because otherwise it's danger to his life, here's another example, or a little bit of a different scenario. Person was bit by a mad dog. What makes him mad? What makes him mad? So, no, I wasn't. The Baratuner explains like this: the way to identify a mad dog, the one we're talking about here, okay, the indications of such a dog are that its mouth hangs open, it drools, its ears droop, its tail rests on its legs, and it walks on the sides of the road. I don't think that's the way we would have thought about this mad dog. Almost sounds like maybe a rabid dog.
Rabid, yeah,
but it sounds like that. And we say like this: so if a person was chas v'shalom bit by that kind of a dog, all right. Now the question is, what's there to do for him? So we're going to read something right now that's going to sound very, very strange about what doctors used to prescribe for such a person. But the Mishnah says you can't do it. At least we have a machlekes whether halachically you can do it. We may not feed him from its liver lobe. Whatever the liver lobe is, the way that the ancient doctors used to deal with treating this kind of a bite was you take that dog. I don't know if it's a dog. You take that dog, you kill it. You take out the liver lobe, whatever that is, and you give it to the person to eat. That is what they did to cure a person from that. Now, understandably, that's not kosher, right? Mm-hmm. It's not kosher. Dogs are not kosher. So its liver lobe isn't kosher either. And the Tanakh, the first opinion, says, although this was seemingly a remedy used by doctors at that time, you cannot do that for a Jew, whether it's Yom Kippur or not. Why? According to the Tanakh, the first opinion, because apparently it really wasn't such a reliable cure. Okay, and therefore it's not the kind of thing that we would say, "Oh, have him take it in order to cure him or save his life, whatever it may be," because there's not really a reliable cure. Rabbi Masi ben Charish mater. Rabbi Masi ben Charish, the sage, whose name was Rabbi Masi, the son of Charish, he permitted it. And the way the Baratuner explains it is, he maintained that it's a reliable method of curing this condition. So I don't know what the argument exactly was between Tanakh and Rabbi Masi ben Charish, but the machlekes seems to revolve around the reliability of that cure. And therefore, if it's really not reliable, it's just some kind of, I don't know, some kind of thing that they did hoping was going to work. I don't have to call like that, but so then you can't give it to a person, even though it's seemingly a dangerous situation. Rabbi ben Charish held, no, that it is, this is considered a reliable cure, and therefore you can use it, or at least take your chance with it. Batunura says, Allah ben Charish. This cure with the liver lobe was not really considered anything, nothing much.
It could be they took something out of that piece of liver.
But apparently it still didn't work. Apparently it still wasn't too reliable. That's what Tanakama says. You can't give it to it. You can't give it to him. Now we have another state for Rabbi ben Charish that involves remedies. If a person feels pain in his throat. Now, it doesn't just mean he has a sore throat, but it means like this. This sore throat, he feels the symptoms of a life-threatening condition that begins in the gums and extends to the throat and then to the inside of the body. I don't know what this was exactly, but it was some kind of a disease that would start in the gums, spread into the throat, and then can spread internally, and that would not be good, or possibly not good. So we have this person who feels that he's got this condition. We put medicine in his mouth on Shabbos. Whatever it takes for the medicine that they use to give this person on Shabbos, you do it. If it was a type of herb, so they had to cut it down, they had to detach it from the ground, they had to grind it. All these are things you can't do on Shabbos. But if the person has this sickness, then we put the medicine in his mouth on Shabbos, meaning we do whatever it takes to get him that medicine on Shabbos. Because it is a possible danger to life. Now, this is an interesting word. In the other cases before, this word of sveik nefashis didn't come up.
Yeah.
This is called sveik nefashis. It's a possibility that he's going to die. Nonetheless, anything that it's a possibility of danger to life overrides the laws of Shabbos. So my understanding here is that this condition is not good to have. Is it life-threatening? It's possibly life-threatening. And therefore, we say that the halacha is that's enough to say, well, that's a great Shabbos. Now, the Ratanura adds another, and it's interesting, the notes don't bring this down, but the Ratanura adds another case, because it says, I don't know if I read this, all possible dangers to life override Shabbos. So whenever the Mishnah uses the word v'chol and all, meaning basically it told us, why can you put the medicine in his mouth? It's a danger to life. And all cases of possible danger to life desecrate Shabbos. Anytime the Mishnah says and all, it's going to include something more than we mentioned, or another aspect of this, or another case. So Ratanura says the case that the v'chol is coming to add is the following. The case is like this. The question is the extra case, not necessarily the case the Mishnah was talking about, but what the word v'chol is including is the following. So we know, or the doctors, let's say, determine, right, that he's not going to die this Shabbos. There is no danger to his life today. No danger to his life today. However, if he doesn't start taking his medicine today, he could die next week. It could eventually catch up with him and kill him next week. So today, this Shabbos, he's going to make it. The question is, if he doesn't start today on Shabbos, that perhaps by next Shabbos, right? Because let's say it was an 8-day program, okay? That they tell, and for 8 days you've got to go ahead and you got to grind it up. You got to make it fresh. You got to grind it up. You got to give it to him. Today, the first day Shabbos, he's not going to die. But if we don't start today,
he's going to die.
Maybe the next Shabbos he may die. Right? So it's not a case of today, maybe yeah, maybe not. Today's not, but maybe later on. So the Mishnah still says, even in that case, we allow you to do it. We don't say, well, today he's not in danger, and later on it's only a doubt. So let's take our chances and wait till after Shabbos. Instead of desecrating 2 Shabbos, let's desecrate 1 Shabbos. The Mishnah says no. Any case of danger, even like this, where today there is no danger, but there could be danger in the future, would allow you even now to go ahead and desecrate Shabbos, even though today he's not in danger. But if not doing today can put him into danger, can create or if you don't do it today, there could be danger later on. That's enough to say I can desecrate Shabbos even now. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
It sounds like someone going into